Welcome to Hello Me, It's Me, Vulnerable AF, a podcast hosted by Nikki D. Lovely. That's really just her diary disguised as a podcast, but who cares? You're here for it. Join in as she addresses her self-reflections on life, love, and dating, and gives us all the tea by being more vulnerable than she ever has, with herself and the world. So let's get started in today's episode with Nikki D. Lovely, already in progress.
Hello and welcome to another Hello Me, It's Me, Vulnerable as F. I'm a little upset right now because I just recorded an entire podcast and I went back to listen to it and I only got the first 3 or 4 minutes of it. So I'm not happy right now, but I want to say hello and welcome in my friendliest voice I can make available to you at this point in time. But please do know that on top of a move right now that I am currently in the process of, I am a little frustrated. And I think that goes without saying sometimes, is that every day can't always be great. And even through that, I'm still trying to look on the bright side of things. I decided it had been so long, too long actually, that I was like, let me get on here and do a podcast before I leave this place. We have been living in California in this beautiful home on like an acre of land, which is almost unheard of, in the mountains. And we left Louisiana a year and a half ago to come here and live this quote unquote lifestyle. And we knew this day was going to come, but yeah, we did it anyway. And I've been trying to ask myself, was it a good thing or a bad thing? Should I have stayed in Louisiana? Or was it a good thing that I came out here and experienced this for a year and a half? And I'm kind of still a little bit on the fence about things because I guess maybe I'm still trying to figure out what my next steps are, given that I'm not teaching again this year. I love kids. I love them dearly, but I was teaching from kindergarten to 6th grade, and that's a huge age gap. And I will admit, I know where my strengths and weaknesses are. And I will say that teaching is a beautiful profession and all teachers deserve all the flowers and accolades that they can get, because working with so many different personalities, and especially sometimes we would have 100 kids in classes, it's a lot of work. And I don't honestly think I was getting paid on the upper scale, and I honestly still don't think that teachers are paid enough for what they do. Honestly, they should be getting paid as much as athletes, if not more, having to deal with all the different personalities. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back to this moving thing and feeling frustrated, right? And I had a moment. I've had 2 moments actually, unfortunately. Something about moving that creates these moments of frustration. I don't even know if it's about the moving, but everything's coming out all at once. And I'm trying to give myself grace. I'm trying to understand it. One of the things that happened just this morning, I woke up and I decided I was going to reach out to this program I had applied for the vehicle that I have, that actually would trade out your vehicle for a newer vehicle, because my vehicle that my daughter uses is from 2009 and it's time for a new car. Well, one of the stipulations is that the car has had to be in operation for 2 years. And in 2023, she decided to drive the car. Not decided, I let her drive it, I guess. And she got into an accident. And it took me a while to get the car fixed. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I thought I was going to get rid of it. And then I was like, well, she probably needs a car. So then we decided to fix it. But it was over a year. And unfortunately, the operation period is not within the 2 years that they require. And so it seems as though we're not going to be able to get the car or get in the program at this point, which really made me frustrated. And it really got me thinking that, not thinking, I was beating myself up about it. I actually was like, you stupid, you couldn't have filed for the car to still be operating during that year. No, instead you decided to do non-operational. And so now you have to deal with this and blah, blah, blah. I was just really beating myself up. And I had to stop myself and I had to say, no, you did what was best at the time. Because why would you pay for a car that was not operational? Why would you just decide you're going to, DMV has it so that you can pay non-operation. And at the time, I can't just afford to just be throwing money out for something that's, I did what I could do at the time. And I need to give myself grace for that. I need to give myself credit. I can't beat myself up for something I had no knowledge of, right? Of course, does it suck? Yes, it does. If anybody needs a new car, it's her. I need to get rid of that car. I'm leasing a vehicle right now. It has put me in a very horrible financial place. But at the same time, what can I do? What can I do? I'm sure there's something I can do. But right now I'm doing the best that I can do with what I had at the time. Because even during that time, it was hard to even find a car because it was right after the pandemic. Everybody was looking for cars. Cars were super expensive. Even the used cars were $10,000. I decided to go with the lease. Now the lease seems pretty expensive. It's almost over, but it just throws me into something else. And I just have to not sit here and just beat myself up over it. I could only do what I can do. I could only do what I could do then, and it's the same for me now. And I had to just sit with that and not be mean to myself. And the reason why I'm sharing this story is because I know that there are other people who do the same thing. I know I'm not the only person who sits and says, oh, I should have known this or I should have did that. At the end of the day, you didn't do it. You only did what you could do in that time, and you did what you could do that was best for you during that time. And so you have to trust that the past you did what was best for future you now. Now, does it play out in your favor now? No, unfortunately not. But does that mean that's the end of the world and you can't find an alternative? No, it just means you're going to have to fight a little bit and you're going to have to get it together. And me, my old self would be self-pity, avoidance, and, all the other stuff. But I'm going to have to get over myself at this point and just look for an alternative way. And that, as they say, is that. Now, leading on to my second frustration of the day, outside of my entire podcast just deleting on its own, earlier today, yesterday actually, we were packing up things and my daughter kept saying, "Ugh, I hate moving. Oh, I hate moving." And she kept saying it. And I realized every time she said it, it would annoy me. I would just roll my eyes. I wanted to say something. I wanted to be like, oh my God, we get it. You hate it. We all hate it. That's what my brain was screaming. But I didn't say that. I didn't say anything, actually. I just listened from my room. And later, I had to ask myself this morning, I said, why, Nikki, did that bother you so much? What was it about her talking about how much she hated moving? Why did that bother you so much? And I thought about it and I said, well, for the most part, it bothered me because I didn't hear I hate moving. Because if we think about it, I hate moving too. Who likes moving? Nobody likes moving. What I heard was I shouldn't have to move. We should be able to live in this nice neighborhood. You should be making more money. And I took it as a personal attack. I didn't hear I hate moving. I heard you're not doing enough. And as a mom, I think I was feeling hurt in that moment. I was feeling shame. I was feeling all the things that I didn't do. So she wouldn't have to feel like this. And I think once I recognized that that was a trigger today, I was able to have a lot more grace for her and a lot more grace for myself too. Because I need to understand too, both of my daughters are going to have their feelings about this. But it doesn't mean that they have some type of way about me. That they feel that I didn't do enough. That's my personal feelings that I'm trying to put onto them. And that may not be how they feel at all. they are possibly just, I just don't want to move. I hate moving. I don't like this, which is a very valid feeling to have. And I should not take that away from her or them. And I need to be open enough to be reciprocal of their feelings and be like, I understand. You do hate moving. I hate moving too. And coming from that space and not the space of feeling personally attacked. So that's what I'm sitting with. Those are my two frustrations for the day. Outside of this doggone podcast closing up on me. But at the same time, I also understand that things happen for a reason. My first podcast, it was a lot of me and my feelings. It was a lot of crying, a lot of stopping and starting. So maybe the universe just said, or God just said, listen, I don't want to hear all that. Nikki, we need you to get to the point. We need the lesson. We don't need you suffering through it, trying to understand the lesson. Just give us the doggone lesson. And so hopefully that's what I've done. I will try to get back on here a little bit later. I have nothing but moving today. So when I say later, I mean later during the week. But I know it's been a minute. I do want to thank you guys for still tuning in, still listening in, and still being here and even caring, I guess. Again, this was Vulnerable AF. Hello, me, it's me basically talking to myself. So everyone else who's sitting out in the void is really just a bonus for me at this point. I do want to leave off, of course, by saying what would I like to say to future me from me now. Because, hello, me is me. And take what you will with what I say to future me, because, of course, I'm not just saying this to myself. I'm saying this to you as well. And for future me, I do want to say that I'm proud of you. This is, oh my God, every time I do this, I get emotional. I'm proud of you. It's not easy to be able to just get up and go or move or do things and not feel like you have to stay in the same place. I think a lot is tied up in, stability, in having one house or having a landing place and not being a nomad, someone who's constantly traveling. But there's also a lot to be gained from being able to pick up and go, for staying places only for as long as needed, for being adaptable and just getting to a space where you're able to thrive no matter where you are, what you're doing at any time or place. And I've seen the growth in myself to where I am now, where I used to be an overthinker. I used to be an overplanner. I used to be a perfectionist. Everything had to be perfect before I pulled the trigger. And now I'm realizing that doing and pulling the trigger is better than just sitting and waiting, trying to figure it all out first. Sometimes you have to do the things scared. You just have to jump. You just have to leap. And you just have to trust yourself that you can figure it out. And if there's no other lesson I think that I've learned these past 4 years, is you have everything that you need to be successful in whatever it is you want to do. You just have to sit down and decide what is it that you want to do. And once you figure that out, the sky is the limit. And I think you're now on that road to figuring it out. I know that future me, future you, is going to do whatever you put your mind to. You just have to figure out what the hell it is that you want to put your mind to. And you can't let anyone get in your way. And these next couple of months are going to be a test to how much you've learned and how much you trust yourself. And also a test, as in today, of how many frustrations can get to you, and you can look past those frustrations and say, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. You want to cut off on me? I'm just going to redo it. And I'm going to keep redoing it. And I'm going to keep redoing it until I do what I want to do. And you're going to get there. You're going to get there. Anyway, on that note, that was for you too. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, a wonderful rest of your week, wherever you are listening to this. I hope you're in a nice, calm space, and I have to get back to moving. So I'll talk to you guys later. I appreciate you being here. All right. Until next week or the week after. You never know with me. It could be a whole month from now. But until then, bye.
Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hello Me, It's Me with Nikki D. Lovely. Just remember, you can't change who you were yesterday, but you can always learn and grow to become a better version of yourself today. So make sure you do the mental work today for the future you tomorrow, and I will see you next week. And in the meantime, make sure that you check me out on my Instagram at Nikki D. Lovely. You can also find me at nikkidlovely.com and check out my book, No F Boys Allowed. Just a little shameless plug. But either way, I will see you guys next time, and thanks again. Bye.